another exciting episode of Baobab Chats. Today we have got an exciting panel. We've got an exciting topic that we're going to talk about. We are going to talk about Lobola. Don't worry, the bride price that you pay for your wife. You find a lady and then you love her and then you propose to her, and you literally have to go and pay something for the parents. So in this current situation, this modern world, do we still think that this is relevant? This is what we're going to talk about we're going to have a very interesting views, and we are going to have very interesting discussion to tackle this question. So with me, I'm going to go around and people are going to introduce themselves. And then before I do that, I'm going to introduce the question that is it still relevant to have Lobola in 2020, in this modern age? I mean, I can start with you, Lennon, on this question. I mean, I think you're a married man. Did you think it's still relevant or it's worth it?
Good evening, guys. My name is Lennon. Thank you so much for being with me here on Baobab Chats. Firstly, I would like to say yes and no. Lobola is still relevant in 2020, and no, Lobola is no longer relevant in 2020. Why I say so? It depends where you are. Look, we have migrated. I mean, from where we came from the rural areas, from our backgrounds. We are now living. I think 90% of the people that are here on the panel, we are living in a modern day world where Lobola is not something that people still talk about. I mean, people just come, stay together, have kids, introduce themselves to the parents, but also the parents are still expecting something from us. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the parents are still expecting something. I mean, over to you, Joe. What do you think about? Do you think it's still relevant?
I think most people. I think I should say that I'm still yet not married, still single,
Yes.
Never married.
I'm not sure whether you're doing it for this discussion or to market yourself.
Don't judge my answer. Exactly. Don't judge me.
But you can go ahead. It's okay.
Yes.
Yes. Please go ahead.
I personally think Lobola is irrelevant. Like at this time of the world, like we are not supposed to be paying Lobola now. Why do I say so? I have so many reasons. Besides that, nowadays people are using, Lobola are using that as sort of a business. Those people with girl children, they are now taking this as an advantage to sort of make money out of people who want to marry their daughters, which is unfair. I'll give an example. I have a friend who recently, 6 months ago, he went to pay Lobola. He loved this girl. I mean, for you to make that decision, surely you are in love with someone. So he saved a bit of money. He saved up around $9,000 and he was like, I think I'm gonna pay everything once and for all, and ask for a wedding and whatever. But when he got there, he was given this long list, which accounted up to around $25,000.
Oh wow!
Okay.
So tell me, is that still sort of a cultural kind of joining two people together to start a family?
But I would say, do you want to peg your own price? I'm just asking. No, I'm not saying that's correct. I'm just saying, do you want to give your own price?
I don't want to peg my own price, but I just want this Lobola thing to be abolished. Rather, let's come up with new practices. Of course, we can't abandon our culture, but let's come up with alternatives and better ways of actually joining two people who are in love and who want to be together and start a new family. Because if we were to charge someone $25,000, how are they going to start a family? How are they going to,
Yes,
a house?
We will come back to that part. We'll come back to that part. But you started a very interesting conversation and said those people that are in love, and we have the lovebirds here on the platform. So we want to hear their perspective, about this thing, Anele
Yeah.
and Bongani, I think the floor is yours. I'm not so sure what I'll get, but I'm really anticipating a very interesting response to this.
Yeah, you start.
No, you start.
Yes, we will
Okay,
start.
afternoon everyone. My name is Bongani. To a certain extent, I feel like one of the panelists had said, it's sort of an expectation type of thing, because we would not really say is it still relevant in 2020, because it's not like I'm going to be paying Lobola to Anele. It's something that's going to her parents. So it's really not a matter of relevance, but it's a matter of the parents are expecting it to take part. They're expecting it to happen. So we really don't have a choice in that regard, because usually parents, when you start to omit or not pay lobola, they curse your marriage and say, what, we don't want to give you our blessings. And we tend to believe that, what, a black cloud is going to follow us. Of course, I honestly don't believe in that. And then people say, okay, you know what, you're not going to have kids because you never got a blessing from your parents, or there's a
Yeah.
black cloud that's going to follow you if you don't actually compensate the parents if they for what they did. I mean, Lobola really, we have moving from east to west on the concept of it.
Okay.
Now it's really, it is a business, for some other people. But really, it's not a matter of it being relevant, but it's a matter of it, our parents actually expecting it to take part, So indirectly, it is still relevant, but it can be different in our generation when we are
Yeah.
parents. That's when we can decide if it's still relevant or not. But for now, we really can't decide, because if I walk out there and Annelia's mother says she wants Lobola, she wants it. And
But I
what
want to
I
get you
believe,
here, Bongani. So if you're given the choice, I'm not trying to stratify. Given the choice to say pay or not, or relevant or not, which one would you choose? Let's say we have the
if
power.
I were to what,
If you have the power now
What are you
to
going to
choose
say?
which one, relevant or not, which one would you choose?
I would choose for it to be relevant. Well,
To pay. Would you choose to pay in the wallet if you had the choice?
yeah, but don't look at me like that.
Don't scare Anele, don't scare Bongani. Don't scare.
If you don't
Okay.
know the answer, it's okay. It's okay.
Who's
Yes.
the one to parents?
Honestly, for for me paying it for her, I would consider it relevant because
Yes.
it's the right thing to do and it's
Okay.
custom law as well.
Okay.
But for my kids, then things could be different. You
Okay.
understand?
No, I
So in terms of me paying it for her, it will be relevant, because it's the right
because
thing
the
to do.
parents are expecting this. Yes. And Anele, what would you say? What do you think
About what?
about? Do you think it's still relevant?
I agree with what Bomani said. It's
Hmm.
not a matter of it being relevant. Well, I'm not against it, but at
Hmm.
the same time, I'm not for it.
So we don't know where you are.
Yeah, my mom, I know my mom expects Ilobola,
Yeah.
so she
But
has
but
to get it.
but if your mom is not expecting, he says no. You have a choice. You can actually choose whether to pay or not. You wouldn't want to pay.
I wouldn't have a problem then.
You wouldn't have a problem. So now you're paying because
Yeah,
you want your mom and your parents to be happy.
that's what
No,
you want.
I think, sorry, Abet,
yes.
just to cut Anele, or sorry, Anele, just have to interrupt you. I think,
Yeah,
I mean, we are at, okay, we are living in a world where we are able now to say out how we feel and to tell the people the right thing. So if I am to go to my parents and I tell them, okay, okay, I'm a girl child. This is my girlfriend, or this is my boyfriend, but we love each other. We're gonna stay together. But do you still think the lobola is still relevant? Okay, of course they say yes, but I will have to teach them that, look, it's not, because the way they're taking it, it's like a business. Like what Bongani say, it will be like a business because they will be expecting a lot. They will tell you from the day you were born, I had sleepless nights. I did this for you. I took you to crash. I took you to school. I took you to university. All those things, which I feel is not, it's irrelevant, because after this, now you are here with me. We have a life to live. okay, you took like what Joe said. They took 25,000 US dollars. I mean, that's a starter for a family. And now imagine in that house, how are you going to live with the partner, knowing that your parents took 25,000 and you are living in a one bedroom or one room or in a shake because the money is gone to your parents. Your parents are buying, I mean, a nice,
Yes,
nice,
Lynn, I need
yes,
to stop you right there.
Can I interrupt you?
Yes. Yeah, she wants
yes,
to come back. Yes.
The Lobola is not for the girl's family. They help with the wedding, with paying for the wedding. So the guy's family bring the Lobola money, and then they help with the wedding. They buy gift for us, the
Mhm.
newlyweds, and everything else. So it's not that it's the parents' money.
okay,
Yeah, but I think that differs from culture to culture or from tribe to tribe. Some culture of whatever tribes they
They
don't
don't
do
do.
that. Yeah, some
Yes,
do
I
that.
mean,
Yes, but some don't.
Lennon, you brought in a very interesting point that I wanted to go to the next point. I mean, well, when we look at the financial implications of this lobola, like what Joe just rightfully said, that is 25,000. I mean, Joe, you and me, okay.
Yeah.
We are also not married, but okay, I'm not marketing myself, but maybe I am, but that's not the point. But the
indirectly.
point is this, yes, the point is just that we have 25,000 that has been paid.
Yes.
I mean, how would you, let's say you pay 25,000 US dollars, what are the financial implications be? And usually it's 25,000 and then there's the white wedding. This is what happens most of the times.
That's really expensive.
So what do you take this?
Wongani just said it's really expensive, eh?
That's really expensive because
I'm asking how much it is in
I'm
rand.
translating it in rands, and that's so much money. And to
Uh,
be honest, I feel like the financial implications for Lobola are tremendous. As an accountant, honestly would not pay that kind of money. They can keep their daughter if they want, because honestly, that's too much money.
Bongani, they are listening.
I honestly feel like you all know what they could keep their daughter because, to a certain extent, I feel like they should not come up with a money that is not an amount that is not realistic. They can't come to me and expect me to pay 350, close to half a million rand. And honestly, that's not fair. You know, I understand they took her to university. She's groomed well, she's respectful and all that. But now let's come back to earth and try to compute this amount of money. And also take into account, I can't work a 9 to 5 without no other source of income besides my salary. And you expect me to pay half a million rand?
yes.
What do you mean? Does your daughter lay golden eggs? No.
Yes, she does.
No. Honestly, no. I would, like, honestly, my family would walk out of that negotiation and say, thank you very much. On to the next household. Because that's not realistic.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you so much, Wongani. Thank you so much.
Before anybody else starts commenting, Anele, what do you want
Okay,
to say to this?
What
okay,
I want to say
Yeah.
yeah.
Link.
about the amount or just
No, about the financial implications. Let's say hypothetically they literally charged this kind of money. What would be your reaction?
I feel like I have a say to a certain extent. If my mom like charges a really high price, then I can explain to her and it's like, no, I don't know. I can explain to her we don't have that kind of money, so she can't expect, you know.
This,
So I feel like I can talk through with my mom.
so should we say in another way,
Like,
you know what you are worth and then you say, okay, this is too much, no?
no,
But-
no,
No, but it's
it's not a
okay. I
matter.
got the point.
It's
I-
how much my husband.
Okay, so I think we lost them there. I'm gonna add them. So, Joe, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I mean the financial implications of this Lobola, they are just reminders. If
Mhm.
I tell you, I think it's Standard Bank in South Africa they've actually come up with some loan,
Yeah.
which they call Lobola Fund. You can apply for that, and I'm sure it's easy to get. So even financial institutions have actually chipped in to sort of propagate this to, to for people to get that money, that credit to kind of go and pay Lobola. Just imagine getting into a marriage, you are owing the bank something like R500,000, as Bongani said. How do you even start a family? How do you even start to budget to say now we need to have a child? We need to budget to make sure that we kind of save so that our child will have a better life than we had. It's just ripping off people. I mean, it's something which I totally against. I'm not against our culture or our Lobola kind of tradition, but I'm against the way it's being done nowadays. It's more of a business, as I said earlier on. It's more of okay, we've got this person has money. Let's just get as much as we can from them. We don't care what they are going to eat. We don't care how are they going to live when they are together there. Let's just get the money and
Let's get money.
Probably pay our house
Yeah.
off or pay our debts off. That's what they do. And imagine,
That's what they are looking into.
people,
Yes.
most of the people who are at that panel of that negotiating panel, the ones who are charging are the uncles, those you don't even know, like those uncles, those long distance uncles, and they are just greedy people who are just there to pocket something from the
yes.
beautiful girl.
So in another words, if I'm to summarize what you said, you just say you are up for this, Lobola, but you do not agree with the pricing. Maybe it's now becoming a business model more than it was what was intended for.
Yes, I'm against the business model of it. Obviously, when it started, I'm sure back then when there was no money, when we're still doing barter trade,
it was done correctly.
It was this expensive. I don't think it was this expensive.
Okay.
No. Actually, it wasn't. It wasn't really expensive. I was just going through something concerning Lobola back then, and I found out that it used to be like maybe for example, five cows. Five cattle go to the girl's parents, and that's it, because they were saying we are building a relationship. But as we moved on with time, it's kind of changed when people started to know money, the value of money. And you can see, for example, they will tell you that we want 5 cows, and then they will come with that list that Joe was talking about, the long one. And then after that, they will come with a lot of things that comes with the family, that you have to look after the family. You have to look after the family. You have to look after your family. It becomes a lot. So that's why you see these days when it comes to Lobola, I mean, people are not willing to pay that kind of money. That's why I'm saying I think we need to come to a point where we'll be able to talk to our parents and let them understand where we are going from. Where, let's say I've got a girl I want to marry. I'll go to the I would ask the girl to go to the parents and then explain to them how our situation is. And then we it's not like we don't give him something. We give them something as a token of appreciation, but not those kind hefty amounts that will leave us bankrupt. Like we say, Joe, that Standard Bank is giving a Lobola loan. Imagine you're starting a family, and then I'm already 200,000 in debt. You see, maybe my girlfriend is working, and then when I say, okay, guys, my girlfriend, let's settle this, I don't think she'll agree. She'll say, I'm marrying. It's like I'm marrying myself. You understand?
Yes.
Yes. I agree with you there, Lonen. I mean, yes, this has some financial implications, of course, especially if it's overcharged. But I'm sure if it's actually done right, I think we will have a little bit of, maybe it's okay. So we are taking it as a certain specific kind where we are saying if it's overcharged, this is the problem. But well, yes, I mean, I think there are other people that don't charge that much, I'm sure. But okay, I mean, I also have another different question that might not have been in the list, but There is also an implication where people talk about, they say, okay, when you pay Lobola, like Joe just said, pay 25,000 bucks. Let's say something happens, to this marriage, 3 months, 6 months down the line. Are we not entitled to get the refund? I mean, I'm just asking. I mean, it's a genuine question. That's the first part. And another part will be like,
I,
would
I
we
would love, I would love Anele to answer this one. I would love to hear what she says about the refund.
yes, Alele, what would you think?
They couldn't take it back.
No, I won't.
It's a gift. You can't take it back.
It's not a gift.
It is.
But now
No.
the thing is now you are no longer together. You've gone separate ways,
Yeah.
and then I mean I don't see it as a gift now. I see it as a robbery because I mean
Or when
I'm no longer with you. At least give me something back. I mean just to compensate. At least half. You know. And also just I just want to go back. I just want to go back to what Adele said about the money that's being charged as a lobola. I think if I'm not mistaken, Anele, you are Xhosa, right? Then they give you something
no,
like oh, you Zulu. Okay, I think it's the same. Where the money that the boy the guy puts in, then it helps to on the wedding. But it's not only that money. There is more also that are to come. After that money for the wedding, there's a lot of things. Obviously, now the guy is also supposed to give something to the parents as we go. It's not like now it's because he's part of the family now. He's the son. He's the son of the family. I don't know. I don't know for you, Anele. What do you think about that now? Because once they charge a lot of money, and now the guy still need to look after the family as well. Will you help the guy to okay whatever to pay the debt, the Lobola debt that the guy went into?
no.
What the?
No, I'm not paying the
You
bola.
see, this is one thing that I have a problem with Lobola. This is the
Yeah.
Sorry.
this is the bad this is the negative financial implication will come into power because now, like
Yeah.
they said, you enter into a net bank loan, and
Mhm.
then to get this 400,000 rand to pay for this
You should have
Lobola,
saved up.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But as I have a 9 to 5 job, how long do you think it's going to take me to save up 500,000 rand?
We don't know if that's
Yeah.
how much you want.
Okay, let's assume she wants. Let's assume
Yeah.
she wants
Yeah. We just
$25,000.
assume that she
No, no,
wants
no.
a million.
400,000 rand. How long will it
Okay.
take me to save up for that money? And bear in mind, you don't want to get married while you're on your 30s now because you want to enjoy your marriage while you're still young. How long will it take for me to save? Because I still have student loans to pay. That's it. I still have rent to
You
pay. It's not
don't
like
have to
Yes.
know.
Yes.
no. I'm being hypothetical here.
Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, we don't have to get into more details on that part, but I get the point, man. I really get the point there. I get your point. George, you want to say something on this one?
Yeah, I'm actually in support of what Bongani is saying. I mean,
Yeah.
the girls do not really want to support us in terms of helping us to pay for their lobola.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then we are into this together, and this is our life. We are starting together. We are wanting to build something of our own. We are starting a family. So if you are saying no, you save up that money on your own to pay for me to actually come and live with you.
Uh, uh,
I don't get it. That's where all these
Yeah.
problems start. I'll tell you this. This is where we start to have all these incidents of domestic violence.
Okay.
It's one of the contributing factors towards domestic violence towards women and towards girls. Because a man will say, I paid 500,000 for you, and you are coming here, now you are telling me this, or you are telling me that you don't want to cook for me. You know these cultural things, like a man expects this from a woman, and which is something which we can debate about on another day. But
okay.
yeah,
Yes.
it causes all those problems.
So in other words, you're saying that this might actually contribute to a factor of objectivism to say now I
Yes.
kind of own you because if you
Yes.
pay
Yes.
1,000 and down 3 months down the line someone says, okay, this does not work. Okay, what doesn't work after half a million? I mean, I get
Yeah.
what you mean. And another question that I had with my friends here, and then I said, but who do you react? Because most of the times they say when these mishaps happen, how would one react? Because in the Western culture, most of the times people, African men from an African tradition are expected to behave like their white counterparts. But how would you behave if things do not really go very well? I mean, you paid half million, probably he just bought a ring. Would the reaction be the same on that part when things don't happen very well? I don't know if you get my question. You have
Yeah,
your
I do get it. Yeah, I do get it. I mean, the reaction won't be the same, obviously,
yeah,
for obvious reasons, because there is money involved. One,
yeah,
two, it depends also. Okay, a guy can, okay, like myself, I can sacrifice to pay that kind of money if
yes,
it's needed. If
yeah,
okay, if they request this money, this is what we want. You want
yeah,
our girl, our daughter. This is
mhm,
what you have to pay. There's no
mhm,
negotiation. I pay
yes,
the money. Once I pay the money, and then I need to get something back. I need to get like the respect that I deserve from this girl, from my wife now. I don't want to pay half a million and then I still do all these things. I mean, I pay half a million, I come home, I have to cook, I do have to do this, all those things. I mean, there needs to be kind of a arrangement here
yes,
that
yes. I saw the reaction there. I really saw the reaction. Anyway, jump in. What do you think?
So are you saying that if you pay the lobola, the woman has to cook, has to do whatever you want just because you paid her, you paid for her?
I'm just giving an example. Sorry, I used cooking as an example. I'm saying there is a certain time where we need to meet halfway in terms of everything that happens in our marriage. So that's why I had to use the word cooking. But I mean, let's say now, okay, you are now working. I'm also working, and then
Yeah.
whatever comes from your side and the money, it's not for you. It's now for us. That's where
Mm.
now, especially the young marriages that are coming up now, that's where the problem is. I pay 25,000, I pay 100,000 rands for you,
Yeah.
but now we both working. I'm still struggling to deal with the money that I lended from my friends or from the bank. You working as well, your money is your money. That's why the marriages are not lasting these days, because now you say no, no, if I give you, it's gonna be like I'm marrying myself, like what you have said earlier. So we need to get to a point where we put everything together. That's why we encourage people when they get married, put the money has to be in one basket, so that whatever you
Mm.
do, it comes from one pocket. I don't want to go buy bread and say, baby, can I have money for bread? And then you go take from your side, or I want just to take money and then do whatever I want. I do. So that is my thinking.
Bongani doesn't agree with you, my friend. I see
Okay.
that, but Bongani is on another way. Bongani is
Okay, I'm
just going
really
crazy.
sorry
What's happening in your head, my friend?
because I'm trying to
Bongani is
think and
on
I'm like,
another.
no, hell no. I'm really sorry, but I don't really want to agree with having everything in one basket because I still believe that, you know what, she worked hard for her degree and qualification, and I worked hard for mine. To a certain extent, I deserve that kind of privacy. And I know Annelish is going to question every transaction. Why did you buy 200 airtime? Why did you buy what? Why did you buy flowers? Because I didn't have flowers. Who did those flowers go to? So I honestly feel like as a couple, finance, it's actually a very big thing, like normally a couple should have close to 5 different accounts. That's one thing I would advise. Have one joint account, still have two of your separate accounts. You could have one
Mhm.
account for savings and one account for transactions and normal day-to-day expenses. That might be the accounting in me coming out, but that's what I believe in because I still feel like I deserve some sense of privacy to because I don't want to receive a bonus at work. Then yeah, you receive the bonus, so yeah, let's go buy a new couch. Oh my word, I want to change the what. I still deserve a sense of privacy to my money because I worked hard for it. But what?
What's yours is ours.
Yeah, but what it will go
Of
to a
course.
separate. I,
Thank you,
I
Daniel,
feel
on
like
that. Now ours.
the salary should be divided in portions. 20% can go to expenses that could go to a separate account. 10% can go to savings for emergencies whatsoever. I deserve that 70% for me to declare what I do with it because it's mine. And I will start
I
with.
like you, Morgan. I like how you do it, my friend.
But we can't have all our money now in one account.
Yeah, but then we can share all the other accounts.
What do you mean share? I honestly, I deserve privacy to my money because I don't want to be questioned to
Okay,
every
okay.
single
So
transaction.
we don't want to get into too deep into another problem. We just tell it. We got your point, Bongani, and I'm with you there. I'm with you on some aspects, though not 100%, but I hear you. Joe, what do you think about this? I mean, single men always have a theory. Married men have a little bit of experience. What is your theory around this issue?
Yeah, I mean, the issues with money and women is always a problem.
Okay.
Money and women is always a problem, whether
Okay.
married or
Yeah.
not. It's a problem.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, that,
Even when you are still single and not married,
yeah,
they want to control your bank account.
yeah.
It's yours, yes, but they want to work with your card. They want to work with your banking application where they can see what you bought and where you bought it, who you bought it for, and why. But when it comes to their account, it's a different story. You don't even know how much they earn. You don't even, you can't even ask how much you earn and how you spend your money. They even come to you again. You need to, give me money for my hair, but they are working. They are saving up
They
all
pull
their
the
money.
lady card. No.
Yes, they don't want to share. They don't want to help you pay the lobola. It's your own problem. But when it comes to your salary, to your savings, it's for us. But your salary is here. I think
And then
somewhere we need
after
to
that,
sit down
yeah.
as single and married men and say enough is enough. When we get to marriage, guys,
We should start
we
a
don't
movement.
want that.
Well, I mean, I get you. I get you there. Bongan is in. I mean, Bongan. I don't want to leave you, but but I mean, this conversation is really getting interesting. I mean, I get what you guys are saying, and I think the whole narrative around here, what you said in a nutshell, is to say, even though we're still talking about Lobola, and most of them are actually negative, but I'm sure there are positive things that comes from the Lobola, and sometimes if it is done right, this is what people usually say, if it's done right. So is it not a question for us to do it right rather than actually putting a negative thing on it to say? And unfortunately, I think in Zimbabwe, they already said to a certain extent, I don't know how really, I don't understand the law, but they're saying that you can actually have an option as long as you agree with your wife or with your partner and go to the courts. They actually can you can get married and it can actually be recognized without actually paying for it. But I don't really know the actual nitty-gritties. But if this option is there to say, okay, you charged $500,000, but we can, I mean, do you think this can be a solution or to a certain sort to normalize the thing whereby they know that you also have an option that if you guys agree, you can literally go and get married without them actually getting part of it. So then you coming to them is entirely out of courtesy and respect and say, I really want to do the right thing. But if you charge me 25,000 US dollars, might not be in that position, because I'm sure there's a famous preacher who said this kind of thing, that it's usually when a person wants to get married the proper way, it's the difficult part. When you impregnate someone, it's usually not so difficult. At least he accepted his responsibility, which is a little bit supposed to be vice versa. I mean, Lennon, what do you think about this? Do you think it's the way that we should be doing it, or it's supposed to be? It's entirely about. It has to be abolished altogether.
No, I don't think it has to be abolished altogether. I mean, to a certain extent, we really need to do something for our parents, even for our in-laws as well. But it has to be in both ways as well, where the receiving party has to come to the party as well and say, okay, wow, we see you loved our daughter, and we are serious, but this is what we need, so that you guys you live together in a nice way. You give us a certain amount. I mean, that is not too much, just to appreciate, just to know that their child is with someone else. And it's not like when you take this their daughter, you are going forever and without supporting them as well. They need to understand that as well, that you are now part of the family. You, in each and everything that will happen to her family, I will be part of it. Be it a funeral, be it anything, be it a lot of things. So these are the things that we still need to educate our parents that are still living in these days. That marriage is not supposed to be like something that, like a milking business. It's not like a business where you sit down with a calculator and counting like Bongani, the accountant. You will be doing the ledger there and saying, okay, this is my sister. I'm expecting 500,000. It's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be something where when I see you tomorrow as my in-law, I will respect you as my mother. I don't want to see every time when she calls on, when my father-in-law calls, I throw the phone away to say, no, not again, or I don't want to see this man that year. So I think it still needs to be done, but in a proper way and in a negotiating way where they will see that these guys still have a future together, or still have a distance to travel together. So let's not make it so difficult for them.
Okay, okay. We hear you. And Joe, you want to jump in here?
I think I'll echo what Lennon has just said. It's really true. These are two people who are coming together to start a family. So I think we should find a way of, maintaining our culture, our cultural traditions, not abolishing them totally, because this is who we are. We are Africans. We need to maintain that. But we need to have a real look at how we do it, how we charge the Lobola, how we do the negotiations, because this issue of making business out of, a girl child is really not working for both parties, for the girls also, because they are now treated as objects when they are in that marriage, and for us also as men, because we get into this marriage with a very huge debt, yet we still have to, fend for the new family which we are starting. So we need to find ways where we can say, how do we regulate the Lobola negotiations? I'm interested to find out more information about the new law in Zimbabwe. I haven't read about it, but I heard about it, that now you can, agree with your partner and avoid,
Is it one
paying.
of your list that you go like, do you think we can agree on this thing or something like that before you propose? But anyways, Anele, what would you think? Do you think this is supposed to be abolished, or you think it needs to be just corrected? Like what you're saying, that I need to be somehow in part of this negotiation, or do you think it has to be abolished altogether?
I don't think it should be abolished. It should be corrected. It
Okay,
shouldn't be a business transaction.
it has to be corrected.
Yeah.
And Bongani, what would you think?
Hey, personally, to a certain extent, I feel like, because I remember, I know it has changed significantly, and also we need to take into account that we're also changing as well. We are moving to the west in terms of our culture, and we are moving to the western direction. We need to
Yeah.
understand, back in the days they used to use cows because at the time bartering was a medium of exchange, and now money is. That is why they use money and not physical cows. I
Okay.
honestly feel like they need to take into account a lot of factors. For instance, they need to take into account what the husband is doing, and they need to take into account my expenses. So they can't really just come to me and tell me that, you know what, we demand this kind of money, because to a certain extent, it might not be physically possible, financially possible, in fact, because at that point in time, I'm still paying for the new house that I bought for us to live. I'm still paying for a car. I still have kids to take to school, and we still have a future together. So I honestly feel like it should not be abolished because it's custom law, it's our culture. It's sort of a thank you payment to our parents to say, thank you for raising such an amazing woman, and she's gonna bear kids for me. She's gonna, you know, whatever women do. I honestly feel like to a certain extent it has to be corrected significantly, and the law needs to take its part.
Okay.
I was even saying earlier on there needs to be tax implication in terms of Lobola because it's income in nature. So why are they not taxed?
No.
We are talking to an
Okay.
account. You see what you guys talking
We're
about?
talking to an accountant.
Involved.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Yes.
I
I
get
think sorry, but I think also I agree to what Bongan is saying and what Joe said as well.
yeah.
The other thing that complicates the whole situation when it comes to marriage. I mean, I know of some cultures where when the girl said, "Okay, mommy, I'm going to get married," you know, the whole clan, the whole Anele clan, the whole Bongani clan has to be there. Okay, that's one expense on its own. I mean,
Yeah.
because you have to feed all these people. The
Yeah.
uncles have to be there. The
Yeah.
aunties have to be there. The great grandparents have to be there. And now, they just throw this whole bill onto the son-in-law. I mean, it's ridiculous. That's why, like in our culture in Zimbabwe, remember they give you a list first to say this
Yeah.
is what we expect before we even start the negotiations. The list of grocery, the grocery that is going to be eaten on the day,
On the
which
day.
is something like, yeah. So
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is
But
why
I'm not so sure they'll finish that grocery. But okay, it's a topic for another day.
no,
But
they want, they want.
I agree with what you guys say. But I
Yeah,
mean, to go to my last but not least question is that
yeah,
I mean, Lennon, I think you have a daughter, right?
yeah.
Yes. Are you really expecting to get some lobola? I mean, as a dead
Uh,
man.
Not really. One thing that I always wish for my daughter is just to have a beautiful marriage. What we went through before, what we went through in the past, it actually taught us how to treat the future generation. So I wouldn't expect my son-in-law to pay money. I would expect my son-in-law to be able to look after my daughter the way I am looking after my daughter up until now, up until she finishes school, up until she starts working. So I don't want to encourage that thing where I will be expecting something and then this guy will give me that something, but my daughter is not living happily. So I would rather prefer my daughter to live happily, and then that's why at the moment we prepare a better life for our children so that when they get married we don't expect something from them. I mean, to compensate to what we did for them. So I
Okay.
wouldn't want, I wouldn't expect my daughter to my son-in-law to pay me something. I just want them to live happily.
Okay. And Joe, what would you think? Let's say you got married finally, and someone agreed not you can take their daughter without paying, and then you have your own daughter. What would you
Yeah, I think it's up
do you
to me because
expect to pay or not?
I'm one of the people who is actually advocating for the abolition or the relook of this the whole Lobola issue. So I
Okay.
have to stick to that. If I am to make the change, then I will make that change on my own daughter. What I would say is I would want my daughter to also live happily, like what Lennon just said. So it's our duty as the now modern parents to kind of raise our daughters so that they are also independent on their own, so that they don't depend on men for
Yes.
whatever thing. Unlike way before, where women depended on men for survival for whatever thing. So I think I would say that I wouldn't really sort of expect my son-in-law to pay all these ridiculous amounts of money. I just want them to look after my daughter, love her, treat her well, like respect her, so that we won't have these problems of family violence and all that. Yeah,
Okay. So,
I
so,
would
so
be
I,
expecting.
I like you pointed that one out. We had a conversation about that. I mean, Anile and Bongani, sorry. What would you expect? I mean, by the way, you should invite me to your wedding. Maybe I want also some encouragement. But I
Me
mean,
too. Me too. I want to be
let's
there.
let's say you got married and then you have a daughter. Would you expect to receive some lobola or not?
Would you? Okay,
I wouldn't have a problem either way.
I'm expecting. I am expecting full compensation for raising my daughter. Same amount I pay for annual compensation. Yeah, yeah, they have to compensate me. Eh? The full amount I paid for annual has to come back with interest, taking into account time value of money.
Yeah.
Um, honestly, I would not say I'm expecting it, but as much as I'm gonna raise my kids in the Western, Western modern, but I don't want her to forget our culture and tradition.
Mm.
So, hey, the cows need to come, eh? Because, hey, yeah, no compensation. They have to
The
pay.
cows need to-
Yeah. Sorry, Herbert. I just want to say
yeah, I
something.
like your honesty, brother.
So, okay, I just want to come in there. Like what Bogani said, the cows need to come. I would encourage us.
Yeah.
I mean, to be able to look after our daughter, so that they buy the cows for us before they even get married. So that you don't expect such kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then your daughter will be able to buy you cows before
Yeah.
she gets married,
Before
so that
before
you don't
before
expect
before
this thing.
pregnant.
Just like what I said
Yeah.
earlier on, where your daughter will be able to look after you the way you would expect your son-in-law to look after you. So these things comes from the grassroots, where you teach your child, and then you nurture your child in a way that you would expect her to give it to you, not the son-in-law to give it to you.
Yes, Bongani, I see you're bending there, my friend.
Either way, they have to pay, despite the circumstances and situation. They have to pay for my daughter.
And if they want a
Okay.
million,
If I want what?
if they want, no, only you. How much you gonna want?
Yeah,
It's gonna depend on how, because it's really gonna depend on the education. Because you know what happens,
yeah.
most girls when they get married, most close to 90 to 80 to 90% of them, they do turn a blind eye to their family, because according to our culture, we are making a relationship between the two families.
Mhm.
And as much as I am a son to my wife's family, but
Yeah.
really I am moving to the husband's household type of nature.
Okay.
It has been that thing. Even back in the day, when someone paid lobola for them, they instantly move in with their in-laws to stay with their husband, and they have to cook for the mother-in-law and the father-in-law, which is the female. That's what used to happen in the day. Now it's just easier. People just move to their own apartment, to their own
Yeah.
houses.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, I wouldn't expect a lot of money, but I would expect them to respect our culture
Okay.
and bring the cows.
Something with something.
In my culture,
Yes.
The
yeah.
bottom line. There may not be too much, but they are going to come. Okay. Yes. So, I mean, for now, I think, I mean, we need to run up this conversation. It's been really a very interesting one. I mean, so I'm going to give each and one of us a last round, your parting shot, your message to your fellow Africans, what you think needs to be done, I mean, whatever you want to say about this Lobola. I mean, this is your parting shot, and then we can conclude. Lennon, I can start with you.
Okay, thank you so much, Herbert. Thank you so much, guys. It's been a great, interesting conversation. I would say, as my parting shot, that let's look after our children. Let's give our children as much as we can give them. Let's work hard so that we don't expect a lot from them. To my fellow young African who are still to get married, get ready with something, knowing that you're going to get some money is going to be needed. But I don't think I don't think the in-laws for these days will be able to charge such exorbitant amount of money. But keep something. Thank you.
Okay. And Joe?
I would say to my fellow comrades who are still single there, Aluta continua. Let's fight to have a real look at this Lobola thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we can abolish it or kind of correct it, let's do it.
Okay.
Until then, that's when I'll get married. Um, if my potential future in-laws are listening to this, please, guys, I'm begging you. If you charge that exorbitant kind of money, I'll walk away and look for another woman. whose family don't charge much. Anyway, thank you so much. It's been an interesting topic and interesting conversation. Cheers.
Yes. Anele and then Bongania, what's your party shot?
Honestly, thank you guys for having us. It was really an amazing conversation. And I feel like to all people who are listening to this, let's just teach our young girls independence and leadership, because I
Yes.
feel like, as you know, African Black women, that's one of the few things that are lacking, you know. And also, we need to teach our young women to respect themselves first before they could actually give and respect, you know, their husbands in marriage or their partners if people are in a relationship whatsoever. And also stay true to your culture and never forget culture. Thank you so much.
Oh,
And Anele,
okay.
you want to say
So,
something?
yes, I think that men should be taught why the whole Lobola thing came about, why it is done, and that they shouldn't see it as an entitlement to abuse women, to yeah, and everything else that's been happening.
Okay, guys, our fellow viewers and our fellow followers, it has been a very interesting conversation. I think we have learned one or two, and it has been very diverse, and I like the conversation. I think we're going to see you again next week. Thank you guys for coming to the platform and to share your view, and thank you very much for everything, for the effort that you've put. I think we'll see you next time.